finished filming this entire series of the creative part of business, but I think that I left out one very important thing that feels so natural that I forget to talk about it, and that is authenticity. I think in order to run your own creative art business, there are a lot of things, a lot of systems, a lot of things you can learn that you need, but it all comes down to your own authentic self to see if it actually works out and to see if it actually is something that you would like to pursue. And I thought of this topic because obviously there's been a lot of talk about AI and how AI is going to replace a lot of creatives and how bad it is and how fast it is. And I saw this podcast talk by, I think it was Seth Godin, who said, if you think oversaturation on the internet is bad right now, wait until we have AI and people can't even make that much because it's a robot making it. I'm personally not worried about AI because I think what sets us apart is that authenticity and that way of thinking. And the way of thinking isn't straightforward. It isn't something normal. It's all the life experiences you've had, and then you combine them into this piece of art that you're making, whether in whatever medium it is. I'm not talking about style. I'm not talking about having a certain art style, because I think that is different from being authentic. I think you can be an authentic person without ever touching a piece of paper with a paintbrush. It has nothing to do with that. You can have several different styles and still be authentic. And I think the other way around, you can have a style and be inauthentic because it's not really yours. And I think that is what sets us apart from AI. And I think there are a lot of illustrators and a lot of creatives that are going to lose their work or their job because of AI. I think we're going to lose all the middle ground of creatives. Maybe there's space for a few, because there's obviously people that are going to have to direct that AI in the right direction. It's not as if an entire creative department from a company is going to be replaced by one AI, because there's still going to be creative people that need to direct that AI in the different directions that the company wants to go. But I do think that the only way to set yourself apart from those robots is still going to be authenticity, your own voice. There is really only one you. You are the only one that can do you, and everyone can copy that, but they can copy that version of you, and they can't copy the version of you tomorrow. And most of the time, you are going to grow as a person and as an artist and as a visionary. And tomorrow you is going to be better than yesterday you, and even today you. There is already so much noise in the world in the form of inauthentic businesses, people or companies trying to sell you stuff without an actual story or just for profits, that I wish we as creative people wouldn't have to think about copying those strategies. I think there's already something so pure in getting your work out there, showing it to everyone, that is already authentic. If you are starting out your art business, it might seem that you need to copy that way of promotion and that way of getting your work out there. But I think, one, most of us are just one person. And two, the reason that that they have to have this high level of promotion and marketing and everything, all the visuals need to be good, is because there is a certain level of authenticity that they need to reach. They want that authenticity, and you already have that authenticity. It's already there. You don't have to fake that. So I wish we as creators wouldn't worry as much to be like other people or like other companies that have a completely different goal. I think most of the big companies, they could just leave and I wouldn't care. Something else can fill their place, but as soon as an artist disappears or a certain visionary for something, that is a real loss. And that is, I think, the difference between a shell and someone authentic. And how can you recognize if you are being authentic? I think to recognize if you're being authentic to yourself, because you are the only one you need to be authentic to, is by feeling. I notice that I try to be as authentic as I can with everything that I do, but I notice that as soon as there's this gut feeling of I'm not comfortable with this, whether it's I'm not in that position as much as I used to be, but it could be a company that I don't believe in, but they do offer a lot of money. Stuff like that. Or it could be a promotion thing, like follow the trends on Instagram and let's try that. Doesn't feel authentic. Could be sometimes, but most of the time doesn't feel authentic because it doesn't feel me. I think the best way for me to recognize if I'm not being authentic is if I feel behind. If I feel like I am lagging behind someone else and I'm following their ideas and I'm not following my own. And that's not a great feeling because, as I said, you're going to be the best version of you. However, if you're lagging behind someone else, you're going to be the second or the third or maybe the 100th best version of them. It will never reach authentic work. You will never reach like this authentic business that you're building. And I also think that it might be easier for me to say now because I've been doing this for almost 6 years. Because at the beginning you're trying to do everything and you don't know what authenticity is. You might try everything and feel that some things aren't feeling good and some things are feeling good. It's kind of this intuition that is telling you what direction to go in, and it will be different from everyone, which is kind of why I forgot to mention it in the earlier videos, even though I think it's one of the most important things to notice, because there is already a copy of everyone else out there. You don't need another copy. There are lots of copies. But what's still not out there is your authentic version. And that's something that people actually connect to. That's something that helps other people even. It could help someone because your vision is not out there yet, and it might connect someone to you in whatever way. There is so much trash out there already that you can just replace at an instant. And you wouldn't feel lost. And still people say that the art world is oversaturated. Social media is oversaturated. YouTube is oversaturated. Who needs another print business? Fill in whatever is feeling oversaturated. But still, if I choose the example for YouTube, I still am scrolling through all those how-to productivity videos, fill in whatever is trendy at the moment, could be AI, could be retention. I'm still scrolling through someone that has a opinion or a way of speaking that feels authentic, and it always feels fresh. It's always when you find that someone that you're like, oh yes, I'm gonna stay connected to this person for probably years because I found someone that has this way of talking, way of thinking that will not be popular all the time. Could be that they have this spike in popularity. Could be that they are popular first and then they fall off a bit later and then they rise up again. But it's always something that like you can connect to, and it's not someone that is following someone else's themes and someone else's visions. And I am still interested in an authentic person that feels authentic to me, that is talking about a topic that I've heard 1,000 things of already, but I want to hear their opinion. And that's the same with art. If there's 1 million or 1 billion people painting flowers, I still want to see the vision of the authentic person painting flowers. I don't want to see some AI generated floral thing. I mean, that feels empty. I want to see their vision. It's not just about the art anymore. It's not about the design anymore. It's not just about the video anymore. It's about the person that is behind it. And we are in this time right now where basically we're all influencers. I don't like the word. I think there's almost no way to disconnect the art from the person anymore. You can name a few. Most of them are a bit older, and it could be that there's like this business person behind it, but then there's always this other person that takes the reins and gets their work out there. I don't think we can separate the art from the person anymore. And that is why it's even more important to be authentic, because that's what people connect to. What would I do if I started out? And to end on that note, the other videos I ended with, what would I do if I started out? But I feel like I've always been doing authentic things. At least I try to be as authentic as I can be to myself and to others. And the things that don't feel authentic to me is when I'm feeling really uncomfortable, when I have to pretend that I'm better in certain situations, or maybe in the beginning when I started illustrating, people asked me for a certain style and that wasn't me, but I kind of quickly stepped away from that. Didn't feel good. I'm lucky that I can make work that is in my range. But I do feel like if I start a new medium, for example, these videos, I have felt sometimes that I wasn't being authentic. And that's just because I was still searching for my voice and also still searching for my skill. I felt that intuition telling me that's not good. That's you need to do something else. You learn from that situation, you take it with you to the next thing, and then you do something else. So yes, I've always tried to be really authentic, because it's the only thing I can bring to the world, being authentic and being honest, and not just bring another unnecessary product into the world that no one needs. That's the last thing that I wanted to say about the creative part of business for now, that I really forgot to talk about. Don't be scared of AI. I think art that is made by hand is going to be even more appreciated in the coming decades. And if you're authentic, there's always going to be a place for you in the world with your voice.